Welcome back to our second video of getting started for the 2021 school year with Canvas. This is Pam Batchelor from the home base team at North Carolina Department of Public Instruction. I'm excited to welcome you back to our quick series of getting started videos in 30 minutes or less. This week we are going to be talking about quizzes and assignments. In our last video, we built out this course from scratch in Canvas with 1 week of content. And now we're going to dive deeper into the assignments on the course navigation module. We're going to be talking about assignments, external tools, such as if you have a Google Drive assignment for your students. We're also going to be talking about quizzes too. So when you look in your course navigation, you will see a link to quizzes. That is the traditional quizzing tool that has been in Canvas since the beginning of Canvas. It is going to go away after this coming school year, and it's going to be replaced by Quizzes 2, which you can start using now under assignments. So I'm going to start with the new Quizzes tool. Just because I want you to go ahead and start getting familiar. If you use the traditional quizzes tool in Canvas, I encourage you over the course of this coming year to explore the new one because this traditional quizzes will be turned off in July of 2021. So we're going to go ahead and get started by clicking on assignments, and we're going to go ahead and add an assignment. And the first thing I'm going to show you how to do is connect your Google Drive and do a cloud-based assignment. All right, so let's say this is our week 1 summary cloud. Okay, so you can always type in your instructions, submit your week 1 summary. Give it a point value. We can change the assignment group. We can, instead of displaying it as points, we can do percentages, letter grades. We can even do complete, incomplete, or not graded. So we're going to do points. If you want to, you can say, do not count this assignment towards the final grade. Down here where it says submission type, we want to make sure it says external tool. Okay, and then your external tool, you're going to click on Find, and here are all your external tools that have been added. Now, this is added by your Canvas admin at your public school unit, so if you don't see all the same things that I see, it's because your Canvas admin may or may not have added more things than I have. But what you're looking for Google is the Google Docs Cloud assignment, right? So I'm going to click on that, and it's going to ask me to authorize my Google account. So I'm going to click on sign in, and I'm going to click allow. All right, and so now it's going to pull up my Google Drive, and so now you can either go to your folders or you can search. All right. Go. This is the file I was looking for. And I click on submit and then select. And then how many attempts you want to allow, assignment to everyone, or you can assign it to just groups or just certain people. When it's due, so we're going to make this due the Monday after the first week. And then we can click on save and publish. And you've now created a cloud assignment external tool. Students will receive a copy of this document that they can modify for their assignment submissions, right? So kind of works very similar if you're familiar with Google Classroom. It opens up and makes a copy for each student that they can go in and work in the document, and then they have a submit button that they can submit, and you can grade it. So very nice, easy integration for anything that you already have in Google, which is a great point if you are used to using Google Classroom. Then you already have a Google Drive probably filled with assignments. So remember, when you are in Google Classroom makes a Google Classroom folder on your drive, and if you open up that Google Classroom folder on your drive, you'll have a subfolder for each class that you create in Google Classroom, and then within that you'll have subfolders for each assignment. So just keep that in mind, that all of that work that you put into using Google Classroom, you can now turn around and easily add to your Canvas courses through this Google Docs. So very easy to do, and works really easily if you've already got a bunch of content built out in Google Docs. All right, so that's one example assignment. We're going to go click on another example. So I'm going to go back through and click on plus assignment again. And this time I'm going to call this week 1 quiz. And so we're going to go down here again and send external tool again. And instead of the Google Docs Cloud assignment, we're looking for quizzes 2. All right, and so quizzes 2, I'm going to select. And on this one, I'm going to go ahead and allow unlimited attempts, because I really just want them to practice with the quizzes tool until they have mastery of the content, right? Again, I'll make the date. Maybe this will be due that Friday, the end of week 1. Save and publish. All right, and so now this is the new quizzes 2 builder, right? So I can see I have my quiz. I can add instructions. But when I go to the plus, now here's the different question types, right? So one question that we always get is, does Canvas have question banks that are already built out? And the answer to that is yes and no. No, it doesn't come with any content in it. However, if you remember on that first video, I talked a little bit about Canvas Commons. There are folks that have built item banks and shared them in Canvas Commons. So you can import from Commons different question banks that people have built over time. So that is one thing that you can go look for, but it also does build your bank as you go. So questions that you build one time, you can easily reuse in future quizzes. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and put, a true or false question in here. True or false. Let's see. The sky is red. All right, and again, you can go ahead and put more content in here. You can add videos, media. You can upload your own media. So if you want to insert audio or video, you can do all of those things. It does have options. You can also align to outcomes, which I'll show on a later video, but outcomes are like our standards. So you can have standards aligned to each question, which is very nice. And then you can also add this question to a bank, right? So true or false, the sky is red. All right. And so up here is the question title. So question 1. There we go. How many points is it worth? You can add student feedback, which is these 2 little chat bubbles. So if they get the answer correct, they get this feedback. If they choose it incorrect, they get this feedback. So that's really great when you're thinking about that hybrid learning environment. You really want to give students as much instant feedback as possible. So if they get the question incorrectly, then they can go ahead and get that review of what their misconception may be, a review to a different video of instruction. Really, the sky's the limit on what you can put in here for a quiz. So we're going to say done and done. All right, so we have one question, and then we can go add another question. So you can see there's all these different ones. So categorization, fill in the blank. So question 2. All right, so in this one, we type in a statement, select text, and press enter to create a blank, right? So okay, so we'll have our text, press enter. And go. There we go. Again, I was doing this again. All right, there we go. So, a hurricane has okay. There we go. And so we can do with this fill in the blank, they can do an open entry and they have to type in the word, or you can do a drop down and you can say, tropical storm. Depression. All right. And how many points you want. And again, the same thing with that feedback. All right, so we have a couple of questions here. And again, you just kind of go on through. And you can even have a file upload. So this is a really fun question type. Because think about, this is a file upload. So, for our, some of our humanities and arts ed folks, thinking about, well, I need a student to be able to demonstrate a particular skill, whether they're on a musical instrument, whether you're a foreign language and you need them to speak. You can actually have them do a quick file upload of whatever this is. So, demonstrate proper form of a push-up or for a push-up. Okay, and we can even restrict the file types. Again, just the same to whatever type of file. And maybe this one's worth 5 points. right? And so they, upload a file. We can do an essay. With the essay, you can decide whether or not you want them to have the rich content editor, whether you want them to have a word limit or a word count, right? So in 100 words or less, describe the main idea of your favorite children's fairy tale. All right. And then here's that word limit, right? So here's that maximum of 100. You can even put in grading notes. Again, adjust how many points. This will be worth 10 points. All right. And so now I want you to go ahead and we're going to briefly preview what this quiz looks like. So it's always a good idea to look at it and make sure. And so this is, we're launching into the student view of our quiz. All right, so the sky is red. That would be false. A hurricane. All right, and so here's my video here that I can upload of the proper form for a push-up. All right, and then here's that 100 words or less. And notice I can also still embed media. Right, so even though as long as I have the rich text editor as a student, I could still go in here. I have the superscript and subscript, and then I have a math toolbar as well for our math friends. So you can definitely put equations and things in here and have the students respond. All right, and then it auto grades. And so I got 1 out of 17 points because these other 2 questions are waiting for a grade. All right, so this is kind of what the quiz feature looks like. I encourage you to build it, and remember that you can go in here with any of these items and you can go into the item bank and add it to an item bank, and then that allows you to reuse it, right? So this question I can say new item bank and call it demo and add, right? And so I now have, if I go into my item banks, I now see that item bank there. And I can also go in and add items from an item bank. So very easy to use. Stimulus is another good question type, right? Where you can have URLs that you can add, as well as other things that they interact with. So let's say you had a journal article or a newspaper article, you can add it as a link and then they have to look at it and then interact with it as a quiz article type. So just remember that if you ever get stumbled on the quizzes 2, if you click on that little help icon and click on search the Canvas guides, and you're going to look for Canvas guides, instructor guides, and then if we look at new quizzes, which is the quizzes 2, it's going to ask me and give you questions step by step on how to attach a question. So like here's an example one where they've put in the Declaration of Independence, and then students have to, this is like a passage. So stimulus is kind of like a passage. It shows on one side, and then they interact with questions on the right side. All right, so it's like a passage, but it could be anything. It doesn't have to be a passage. It could be a piece of artwork that you want students to look at and reflect on. Or it could be a diagram from science that you want them to look at. So stimulus questions are great, but just keep track of those Canvas guides. They're always there to help you. All right, so we've gone over both quizzes and assignments. So hopefully I'm going to go back to my course. And I'm just going to go ahead and quickly go into student view, and I wanted to show you what that Google assignment is. Right, so here's that week 1 summary. And again, as a student, I'd have to log in, and then I would see that Google Doc that I've put in there. So submit your week 1 summary. So I hope this has been helpful, and I look forward to the third and final video where we'll talk about announcements as well as other apps and things that you can add to your Canvas course. Thank you.